we'll take care of Bryn first. Bryn, you aimlessly wandered to the east, going back through the areas you've already been. See brothels, bars, taverns, hotels. What are you looking for?
Nothing. She's,
You-
she's just indulging, I guess, because I don't know what we're doing even. Like what our goal is. Like like we're not gonna find anything about the history.
You don't know.
That's our opinion. Because it would be weird considering the iron hold of the government has over everything for them not to have some information about this.
Then we'll go to Braxis and Castilla. You guys head to the western side of town. You haven't been in this area yet. You notice the buildings are a lot less damaged. Um, you notice that things are more intact, and the further you travel, the more original buildings stand. Um, give me wisdom checks.
Straight wisdom.
Yes, you're trying to find something you don't know about. 21's pretty damn good. 11, not so much. Castilia, you start without being open about, start listening to people's conversations. You keep a lookout for street signs and familiar certain types of shops, and you eventually find yourself in a pretty well-to-do area. Most of the buildings are still intact. Here they don't seem to have suffered much damage, and you do find a couple that seem to have book signs. You don't know which one is which. One is to the north, one is to the east, down an alley, and another one's to the far west.
God damn it, Bryn. Why did you have to separate from us? Okay, how big do the buildings look?
The one to the north seems to be a hole in the wall place. The one to the far west seems to be a pretty sizable 2-3 story building. And the one to the east, back down an alley, it seems to be a tent. A nice tent, but a tent.
Not good. Alright.
I think the tent looks sketchy.
Yeah, it does. So, do we want to maybe both work together going to the tent or split up? Do you think you could handle the tent? Or would you rather I?
Three bookstores.
Yeah.
May as well stay together.
Good point.
Can't imagine it'll take a day.
Yeah. So let's start with like the one to the west you said was like 2 stories. That was the biggest one, right?
2-3 story building, yeah.
Alright, so that was the biggest one. Let's start with the one to the west, see what we can find. Specifically.
Yeah, you go down a pretty nice road. There seems to be a couple of bridges you cross over with water flowing underneath. You get to the building. It seems to have a nice door, and it says above it, Silent Tall Library.
Silent Tall.
Yes.
No telepathy.
Silent Tall Library.
Well,
It seems mostly made out of nice stone. Now that you're closer to it, it is definitely 2 stories, but at the top of the 3rd story is a smaller 3rd story. It's well cared for.
So does it?
Go ahead.
Does it look like it's open? Like what time of the morning is it? And does it have like an hours of operation sign?
You walking around, looking around, trying to find information instead of asking someone. like a typical male, even though you're female. It's been a couple hours. You're about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so chances
By
are.
your guesstimation.
All right. I reach for the doorknob, and either I push, twist it, and pull, or push, depending upon which way the door moves.
You, for some reason, to an open public place, are being extremely cautious, so you fiddle with the doorknob for a minute while Abraxas looks on with some type of reaction.
Is this
And
a normal thing to do with doors?
Call it a very odd sense of dread that's probably misplaced.
Abraxas's hand goes down near his quarterstaff. He starts looking around him.
you find out that it's a twist and a push.
Okay, so I
You
They have
twist
doorknob
it and push it. You
technology?
open the door, and right above you, a little ding 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 goes off, and you hear the 1 second, 1 second. You guys going in?
yes, yes.
Okay. You your noses are met with the smell of old books, also with a taste of ash. And as you see that, you both of you look to the side. You see a rather large bookshelf. Above it seems to be the picture of an old gnome, female, and under it seems to be half destroyed, half burnt books just on a shelf.
Like the ash scent, does that like smell
That's coming
new?
from there, yes.
And like, does it smell new or like old?
Oh, it's old. These are older books. Some of them seem to be blackened. Some actually you actually can see from where you are little bits of ash sitting on the shelf. But it's a good bit of ways. You can see it, you can smell it, but you'd have to get closer to find out. You just notice the picture. The rest of it seems to be just not. It seems to be a nice little lounge area to across from that on the other side of the room, and then as a bit ways in, you see just rows and rows of books. You look up and you see that there seems to be an open area, and there's stairs that lead up, and you look up, and on the side you can see more rows and rows of books on the second floor as well.
I assume they look like they're in much better condition than the other.
Oh yes, all of them seem to be in decent shape, decent condition. As far as you can tell, you are looking at a ton of books from far away right now.
Okay. So I'll initially move up to like the burned area and maybe grab a small bit of ash. To at least mostly like to maybe take a look at and see like if it seems new or old. Later on. And
Okay,
also,
I wonder what you're about to do, so please explain carefully.
okay. My thought process is
Are
that
you going to look at it first?
yes.
Are you
Yeah, like you
going to
mentioned-
just reach up and grab ash? What
You
are we
mentioned
doing?
that there was like ash like on like the table, like on.
No. There are books that are burnt, and there's ashes around those burnt books that are on the shelf.
Okay, let's go into like maybe like use like a finger to like maybe move some of the ash off the shelf into her other hand.
Okay, you put some wood ash some paper ash into your hands.
I put that into a pocket, and I look like it.
Are you going to look at the shelf at all?
Yeah, I am. My first, yeah.
Because at this point, all you've done is essentially walk up to a shelf and go, ash.
Okay.
Put it in your pocket, and then I guess turn and walk away. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm looking.
You find a plaque.
What's the plaque say?
It's a brass plaque, and it says, "Here lies the dead soldiers, and in glowing memory to Naval Silenthal. She was here and protected the library. My loving wife. May I see you again." And essentially that's what it reads.
I think you should put the ash back.
Yeah.
She's his wife.
Out of curiosity, is like a date or something on the plaque, like a year, like?
No, there's no year. It's just there.
Okay.
Mark the ash.
As you're closer, I will allow you to do an investigation check to see if you can find a title on some of these books.
Yep.
Even a 15, you're up close. You see names.
What kind of names?
You start to see burnt names, but you see a couple and you can make out the whole cover, and it says Journal of, and then a person's name. And you look at another one, you see Diary of, and a person's name. You notice some of the more burnt ones have the same. You see Diary of, and then no name. This is a memorial shelf of journals, diaries, of books of people who died here that have been preserved by this library.
Yeah, she's going to maybe step back, not disturb any books, not accidentally knock anything over, not accidentally kick something that was probably on the floor that she somehow missed, and walk back to Abraxas. Out of curiosity, did the voice that we hear, did a person attached to the voice come to meet up with Abraxas?
He's been standing at his little desk watching you very carefully for the entire time you were inspecting it. Saw you take the ash, saw you then read the plaque, saw you put the ash back as best you can. He humphed a little, but other than that, he's just been staring there waiting.
We are here to do research on the baby.
You should have just pocket sand the ash to his face.
Pocket sand!
Do you have books on the baby?
You see before you a rather old gnome. He has a nice long beard. Seems to have a nice brown hat on, some nice robes. He's standing on a step stool over the counter. I had to do research. On the baby? Which baby? What exactly are you looking for?
There is an idol beneath your town that mind controls goblins that your
the
town
babbling
leaders know nothing about.
baby. You want to know about the babbling baby?
Yes.
Now, do you want just information on the battling baby, the area where the battling baby was found, the entire battle of last fall, the entire goblin excursion? What are we looking at?
Presumably, someone has done research on the baby before. If you have any books pertaining to that, it would be greatly appreciated.
We have something like that, but I need to know what scope we're looking at. That's why I asked the question.
Baby magic.
Oh, okay. That's not a thing, but we'll get to that.
Hold on. I'm not. No, Abraxas. Stop him. No, that baby has mind control magic. Someone has done research on the mind control magic. I am looking for that book.
I'll get to you, very tall, very passionate sir. Now, again...
No, they didn't.
And again, same question to you, Miss... are you looking for just the baby? The area where the baby was found and where theories about the baby? Are you looking about the entire history of the Battle of Last Fall, or the entire Goblin excursion?
Specifically about where about the area where the idol was found, as well as the early research into it and the theories as to why it is that it attracts the goblins.
See, now I could go to the actual bookshelf and get you the book you're looking for. That's why I asked, as he turns back to Abraxas.
You just asked for the same thing with more words. It's both baby magic.
He's right,
Yes, but
he
right. Needs to narrow this down. All right, so.
As he goes away, I'll whisper to Abraxas, these librarians tend to be rather pedantic. They kind of
do a decimal number for baby magic.
So, here's what I'm going to do.
They don't have
I'm going to go get the books. But first, he snaps his fingers, and you see a you see a selection of light form and come together and then disappear. But first, David here is going to make you some tea. He'll bring it to you. If you could sit in the parlor, and I will bring the book out to you.
Okay.
He summoned a terrifying ghost.
Okay. Quickly, just like as the gnome is heading back, I'm gonna try and consider compare him to the portrait. Same person.
Okay, I have made this as transparent as I could be.
Yes.
Husband, dead wife, dead wife, husband.
We all have those moments.
No, we don't.
Okay. So, like with the light. So where exactly is this David?
You don't see David. You hear some water being put on, but you don't see anything. You don't know where it is. All you know is the gnome snapped his fingers, asked you to sit in the parlor, and said that tea and snacks would be given to you while he goes find this book.
This seems weird, right? We haven't paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm led to assume that's how this world works.
It's gonna drug you.
Generally, it's you offer something for something. Usually, things don't come for free, unless there's like a
He's
string.
interested in the baby magic too.
Possibly.
Maybe he's just a gnome, and gnomes are really kinky.
You guys go sit down, or are you still standing there?
I'm going to. And looking at the condition of this, does it look like there's many places for an incredibly tiny creature to hide easily?
It's a library, yes. But
Okay.
are you looking? Are there obvious gnome secret tunnels? No, there's not gnome-sized secret tunnels.
Is there a small hole where a gnome will come out and take our kidneys once we drink the tea?
I was thinking maybe conjure up a really tiny little mouse and maybe have it try and gather some information, try and follow the gnome.
From your bag of tricks?
The gnome has.
I actually can summon I could just summon a mouse.
The gnome has been gone for quite a bit into the what. All you see is darkness and books leading into the back of the house. It'd be a hard task to summon and get them to follow at this point.
I feel like I just want the gnome to be there, but just like he's just sitting there yes, drink the tea.
As you guys are being very, very suspicious and contemplating this, and Bryn is out essentially getting drunk and acting a fool.
The term is making plans to try and cause a riot.
Okay.
I want to make that clear. Bryn needs something to do because she needs to sow chaos.
Okay. And you can't do that in a library?
I can burn the library down if you'd like that.
Nope.
Until the tea is served, Abraxas is gonna go look at the other books. He's gonna try to find fictional books on knights and fighting dragons.
You walk up to the nearest bookshelf. It seems to have you see dashes and dashes under on little bronze plaques on each shelf. You don't quite understand the code.
Capilla, what are these?
But the books there seem to be the titles seem to start with numbers. You see 10 glorious methods of cooking chicken. You see 100 ways to carve a deer. You
move on until he gets to the S section.
What?
Move on until he gets to the S section.
Specifically,
sir.
You start heading really down into it. The dashes and dots continuing on their way. It takes you quite a while to get to the S section. What exactly are you looking for?
Bookstore. I mean, it doesn't seem to be organized by genre, but Abracus remembers books named like Sir Fortescue and the Dragon, or Sir Montague and the fight against the dreaded Dargalax and stuff. So he's looking for things like that.
Don Quixote against the Giants.
In this section, you don't really see anything like that. You see, in the S sections, you see things like how to, you see summon pets in you. You see summer and the seasons. You see things. You see a lot of titles that seem to be non-fiction in nature at this section.
Okay, Abracus is going to grab the summon pets in you, and then he's going to go to the P section looking for like prints.
Okay. You're staying in that kind of that area, right?
I mean, he's just looking. He has no idea how this library is set up, so he's just looking.
All right. You get to the P section, you start reading books with titles like pedicures. You start reading things, philanthropy. You see things saying,
portable holes in
pet care.
He's gonna grab the pet care one as well.
I'm gonna let you do a intelligence check. You got above 5. This is the non-fiction section. You're not gonna find novels or things as you're looking in this section.
Okay, well, he's gonna go back to the table, put down the 2 books. Take a look at these ones, Catilla. I think they'll interest you. And he's gonna go try to find the fiction section.
I look at the Summon Animals one. Start reading the Summon Animals one.
It's a book on various summon creatures for certain spells. These seem to be beasts in nature. These don't seem to be demons or anything like that, so you can take it that these are natural summons.
Okay.
The pet care book is pet care. Proper pet care, proper maintenance, how to shampoo, when to shave your animal, that sort of thing.
Something tells me we're probably going to get surprisingly a huge amount of use out of that. I don't know why.
Why do we need to shave you?
I don't know. Things that are named have importance.
In reality, certain skin issues causes you to need to shave the pet and then treat the skin directly and things like that.
Yeah.
It's weird but true. Abracus, you start walking around. You get to the Z's in the common language, and you're like, oh, where does this go? And you're pretty near the back. You then remember there's a second floor.
Gonna go up to the second floor.
You get the same dashes and dots, but this time at the end of each one seems to be a star. And you start getting titles like Adrian's Amazing Tales.
He's gonna grab
1001 Tales of Knights and Chivalry.
that one.
The Pelican Parcel. Papers.
100 Glorious Gods that may not be real.
He's gonna ignore that one.
100 Glorious Gods that are definitely no longer real because they've been killed.
101 Glorious Gods are not as good as the Archfey, but like
there's you start going through it. You see a lot of war fiction, a lot of books on the war, a lot of books on that seem to be personal stories. You find a couple about knights and chivalry.
Gonna grab a ball.
You find one book that particularly catches your interest called My Life Rescuing Princesses.
Yeah, grab that one too. We'll just cut to the chase and see Abracus comes back down with like 15 books.
Yeah, turning yourself into an undead horror for fun and party tricks.
You as you get back, you notice that a cup is Abracus as you as you're walking down with about 5-6 books, you're not too greedy, but 5-6 books in your hands, you notice 2 cups and a tray of biscuits are just sort of floating and are about to be placed down on the table. One in front of Castile, who is engrossed with her book, and another one where you would be sitting. But there's nothing else there. You don't see anything.
Abraxas is gonna sit the books down with a thud. Did we get the gnome's name? I think we should check on him.
All I know is a silent tree, and about how long has he been gone for?
Oh, you guys been looking around for about 15 minutes. You haven't heard him. You haven't seen him. You now have tea and biscuits.
What was the name under the picture?
Navala Silent Tall.
Mr. Silent Hall? Everything all right back there?
Yeah. Just a second.
Okay.
I am definitely not buried under a pile of books and I'm trying to get out.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. If you were, I'd be inclined to help you, but if you're not, then
I mean,
okay, we'll just wait.
If you were the type to incline to help someone, that might be useful.
Okay, I'm going to come back and help you find someone who needs help. Braxis is going to go back.
You find a ladder that it's on its side. You find a couple of books missing from one shelf, but the shelf above it is completely bare. And underneath the ladder and that spot seems to be a pile of heavy history books. And some of them are wiggling.
I'm going to unearth the gnome.
Oh, leave the gnome. Take the book.
Thank you. I was gonna get out, but I needed a minute, but I appreciate the help. But I think I have the books you want.
Oh, good.
Let's go back to the sitting room. David, where are you, David? He snaps his finger and he goes, oh, there you are. Can you give me my cold compress? Oh, okay.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
It's a gnomish handshake thing.
And oh, thank you, my boy. Thank you. I didn't introduce myself. I am Graham. Silent Tall.
Graham?
Graham, yes.
Graham, okay.
Graham. G-A-H-I-M. Graham.
Nice to meet you. My name is Abraxas. And this is my friend
you,
Catilla Seto.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Somewhere
nice.
from the distance that I.
Now, I mean, get up on my stool, and he lays down these books, and he says, "Why am I doing this like this?" He snaps his fingers again, and a floating spectral hand starts helping him carry the books.
Okay.
Old age is always such a bother. He starts looking through. I see you each have found some books. Good. That's what this place is all about.
Yep.
Keeping the memory of this library that my wife loved alive. Letting people read and see what they need to. Just please don't leave with the books. They're very important to me.
Okay.
Kill the gnome, take the library.
Braxis is going to look at the 6 books he got. Oh, okay.
Take his library.
And he looks at you, Abraxas, and your face is just covered in sadness. He's like,
to be honest, we're going to be here for like
3 weeks.
Here for Catilla. 3 weeks. Could I leave? I don't know, collateral or something to take the book back to the inn?
Bring the book
Need
back.
it?
That's typically how it is. Just don't take the book and not come back. That's mean. But if you leave, when he give me 1 second. And goes underneath, and you hear him rattle through some boxes. He goes, and he blows off a piece of paper. Here, fill this out. and I'll give you a card, and the rental price is a gold, and as long as you bring the book back, everything's fine.
Gold per book?
Gold per book, yes. He uses he starts to explain that he doesn't want to charge, but he needs to keep this place running. And so he typically charges when someone's going to keep the book for a long period of time. And he explains for that gold, you get to have the book for 2 weeks without any questions asked. And he just asks that you bring it back at the end of the 2 weeks.
The D&D player that is Flux knows a gold for a book is fucking highway robbery. Brackus has no clue what the value of a book is, so he's gonna pay this.
He's not. A book could be like 50 gold.
But with technically, yes, that's true. But he does say that with that gold price, you get to take up to 3 books out at a time. You only pay 1 gold per 3 books. And that for you, since you helped him, he'll let you take all 5 of the ones in your hand for the 1 gold. Just bring them back after 2 weeks.
Okay. So, did you find the book? You found the book on Baby Magic?
Yes, baby magic. Okay, this is gonna be a long one. As he puts on some spectacles and he opens the book and he goes, "Whew! Wow, this one took some damage. Ooh. All right, let's see here. The battling baby and its last known coordinates." All right, and he starts to tell you a tale. This tale is of a arena that used to exist in the area that where the statue and the memorial and the calming effect is now. There was a
Gladiatorial.
arena. Yeah, gladiatorial arena. It was a place where people went, they relaxed, they bet on fights, people fought, no one really died because you had clerics to heal, but it was a fun thing for the town at the time.
So you would say it's a gladiatorial arena where people test their stamina, right?
Test their stamina, test their strength. People would bet on fights. People fought. It definitely, he explains, people definitely fought to win, but fought to kill was not allowed. And anyone who broke the rules would find themselves quickly in prison. During there was an unnamed gladiator. Unfortunately, and he opens up the book and points to it. Fortunately, you see these 3 pages? That's where his name and his details and all that were. And they are burnt. They are just burnt. And it says this gladiator fell in love with a high-born woman, and they had a child. Unfortunately, she was not good to take care of the child, and the child grew up in the arena with his father. The child seems to, there's not a lot of details. It's a very dry book. He's giving you the summary of what is there. The child grew up there, and at age 2, started to be taught by his father. Then the incursion happened, and the entire town was burned, except for select parts, and he points to areas he is here. It mentions that most of this was collected from a journal that and you see him, a journal. You see him pop down, and he snaps his fingers and gets Dave again, and you see the ladder, the little step stool that he was walking on, just wallow its way. You don't say anything, just wallow its way over to the memorial, and he starts going through it. Journal? What? I have all the journals. Oh, I did this for my wife. What? Where? I mean, he starts going through, and he's lost in that. The book's still open on the table if you want to continue reading, but he seems to be looking for a journal right now, and he is completely lost in that. Does one of you walk over and look at the book?
I will.
All right. It continues as you're reading. That during that there was a great battle in the middle of the arena, and as the entire arena burned, it in the end only two people survived: the father and the son, who battled the horde as best they could. The witness of the witness who wrote of this, whose last journal mentions this story, says that Cord came down and blessed the child and the father for their great fight, and that their wishes would come true. And at that site was found two things: the calming effect stretched the entire area that used to be the arena, and a gold statue of a child wrapped in a blanket. That's all it says. It says that it goes into stuff you already know. They found out that the statue attracted goblins to it. That something you didn't know, that if left unattended, the goblins tended to get sick and would eventually starve themselves without more goblins coming in. People didn't like this being in the middle of the town. It goes into different handwriting. This is completely different. This is clearly someone who added to the book later on and explains that it took a wooden structure being built underneath the statue. At that time, no single person seemed to lift it, and 10 strong men to carry it into the trap underneath the town. And it was placed there, and that's where it stayed till now.
Why build a wooden structure around it?
You can do that.
They built the Ark of the Covenant around it.
They essentially, what they did is it was sitting. They essentially the how do I explain this? The book wouldn't have explained this. So no, I'm not. I don't have to. It says they built a structure around it, and they carried it underneath.
But yeah, why did they just build a little building up top?
I don't know. The book doesn't go into that. It says that the journal of Darius. Ooh, sorry.
Darius Targaryen.
No, Darius.
Viserys.
Darius Vander. Darius Vander. Was where most of the direct information, but mysteriously his journal was lost. And you see the gnome popped out. Where's that journal? I knew I had it in here.
It was taken by the government, obviously.
You see him reach for the very top shelf trying to grab a single leathered bound book that he can't seem to reach.
Brackus is going to walk over and grab the book for him.
Thank you. All right. All these journals were tagged, and they each one have a tracking page in this book. Any are missing, they should be flashing. He opens the book, puts it on the table, and he starts flipping through the pages, and one page is flashing. Damn it! Someone did not return a book, and how the hell did they check out a journal? You're not allowed to take these out of here. And he says, all right, it's on the, it seems to be on the south side of town. And you see him raise his hand and cast a couple of glyphs. The page seems to shift as you're looking at it, and a map shows that points to a house that is on the south side of town. Journal should be there. You guys interested in a little coin?
I'm listening.
Well, someone has one of my books, one of my special books that I put here as a memorial they're not supposed to have. I got, give me a second. And he pops down and walks across and looks in this coffer. All right, no, I need that to keep the place. Okay, I can give you about 30 gold if you can get this book back for me.
Sounds good.
Brachus, what is your reaction to all this?
He's interested in getting the book back for this little gnome.
Well, here's and he pulls out some ink and a piece of paper, and he goes, "Give me 1 second," and he starts drawing. And you notice it's very brilliant map work. You can see the details of the streets and of the housing and the statues and all that. You see wells marked on the map, and he goes, "Here you go." And he hands it to, and he points it at you, Abracus. This should help you find it.
Max is going to take the map.
And he hands you a map, and there you go. Well, I'm going to go check my inventory, and he pulls out a bunch of incense, and he pulls out various chalks, and he starts drawing a circle on the ground. If you guys want to read for a little bit, be right. I need to make a couple of helpers. And he starts going through what he essentially summoning a familiar.
I'm going to put back the two, like the summoning and pair book back.
Okay. You easy enough. You ask Abracus where he got these books, and he points to it, and you go put them back. Brackus, are you taking the 5 books you were interested in?
Yes.
Okay, Brackus, you tuck in the 5 books into your backpack. They're taking up a bit of room, but you don't mind. And are you leaving?
Yeah, let's go find that house.
Yep. Let's do it.
You didn't even drink the not poison tea he honestly was giving you and biscuits because you were that scared. As you guys
Brackus had other things he was doing.
You guys walk out the door. Bryn, where are you? What are you doing?
Diplo, you here?
Diplo? God damn it, Diplo.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I didn't go anywhere.
What are you up to?
Nothing.
All right. Are you heading back to the tavern?
Sure.
All right. What are you two up to? You heading straight to the house? You gonna try and meet up with Diplo? What are you up to?
Should we get Britain for this?
Probably be a good idea. I sense a trap.
One wants to protect the secret of the baby.
Okay.
Knowing her, she's...
Okay, you guys head back. You start off in the tavern. You find Bryn there drinking and eating, grumbling about the government and seemingly mad at the world for no good reason.
I can just leave.
What?
What?
Okay. What do you mean? Are you telling them you could just leave?
Yes.
Okay.
What are you talking about, Britain? Okay, we're gonna go investigate a house that has a stolen book.
She pets Atraxus's face.
Don't do that. Okay, let's go.
How much have you drank?
Right, are you gonna come with them?
Yes.
Okay. You guys get together. You look at the map. I'm going to have since Bryn is pretty drunk right now, some walking will do her some good. Brackus and Castile each give me a. Let's go. Perception check here. because you are essentially trying to compare the map to what you see around you. Okay. Both rolled very well. You guys start traveling through the streets, heading south, and you make it to an area that seems to be a lot of residential housing. There doesn't seem to be any shops. There doesn't seem to be a lot of uh anything really. It's just mainly houses. Sometimes multiple storied houses, much like what you see on the picture. And you find down an alleyway, according to the map, you find a small house. It's not a bad house. It seems to have a single forward-facing window next to the door. It seems to have a nice, decently tiled roof. What are you gonna do?
Out of curiosity, like, does it look like there's a bunch? Yeah. I just had a thought and it just disappeared.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
Bacchus is going to knock on the door.
You don't hear anything.
Hello?
Comes to the door right there.
He's going to knock again.
You say hello this time?
Hello? Anyone in there?
You hear a very weak voice go, yes.
We're here from the library. Silent Hall Books. We have a journal in here that we need.
Come in. Do you try the door?
You know what? Fuck it. Sure, that's a goblin impersonating a woman's voice, but sure, whatever. Abracus doesn't know. He tries to do.
You open the door, and the door opens. You see as you walk in, you see a not a messy house, but a sparse house. You see a elderly woman sitting in a pretty comfy chair, seemingly with a stack of books to one side, a little end table with a cup of tea, and she's just kind of flipping through a book, and she looks up to you. You said I had a book?
Yes. Divine sense of it. Or, you know, is this evil? Do I smell evil in here?
No, this is not an evil woman. But you do sense something a little holy in the room. Something on the other side of that spectrum.
We're looking for, what was the name, Catilla?
It was the journal of Darius Vanda.
I don't recognize that name, but I have many books. She points to them. Abracus, since you're using that skill, you notice a book near the bottom of the stack is giving off an interesting feeling of ease and comfort.
You mind if we take a look at your books to confirm?
Yes, please. If I haven't brought a book back to the library, you'd Graham will be very mad at me. Very, very mad.
Yep. Yeah, the library breaks kneecaps if you don't bring back books. Bacchus is going to start moving.
He would never do that.
You're right. He probably would have sent one of his little invisible servants to do it. Bacchus is going to start moving books. He's going to kind of be glancing at them, but it's mostly just trying to get to the bottom without tipping the pile over.
You start lifting up. Abracus, what's your strength? Just for the record.
16.
Yeah, no, you're more than beefy enough to pick up stick. You pick up an entire stack of books and you just set it to the side, and you get to the book that seems to be giving off the feeling. And you look on the cover, and it says The Journal of Darius Vander.
And this is the book we were looking for.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Will you please tell him give him my apologies? And she hops up. Please, here's. She reaches into her a bag that she seems to have on one of the tables and pulls out what appears to be 2 gold and says, "This just covered the late fee." Her hands are shaking as she hands it to you.
Brackus will take it. Very well. You have a nice day, madam. He's going to head out.
Okay. You guys, you got the journal?
All right, let's head
The question is, are you going to open it?
Yes. Looking at it, does it look like... Okay. Does it look like it would, like, fall apart if we open it? That is my concern.
No, it seems to be in amazingly good condition.
I suggest we take a quick look at this in this journal. See if we can find, like, what might have been missing. Especially that part about that gladiator where it seemed the pages were just very selectively defaced.
Okay. You guys open the book? Yeah, you already said it. All right, each of you give me a will save. Nope. Nope. Bren? Dipple, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Diplo, are you there?
Yeah, your thing is lighting up, but we're not able to hear you. Yep, that sucks. Diplo, you okay, dude? Okay, this is weird. All right, it was gonna be a will save 30 anyways.
Yeah, I don't think any of us could have made that.
Yeah. You guys do a will. You try to will, but a flash of calming light washes over you three as you step outside and open the book. And you all feel your minds kind of drift off a bit. And you find yourselves here. Put yourselves near where Brent is.
Hey, that's the dude from the Dark Sun covers. I know him. He's in my D&D art book.
Which dude?
That guy.
Oh, okay.
He's from Dark Sun. If he looks like a weird leather daddy from Mad Max, it's probably from Dark Sun.
Fair enough. Diplo, are you awake? Type somewhere if you are.
Diploraptor, awaken!
Ah, fuck. You know, he's definitely trying to talk to us. Okay. Oh, this is awkward and weird.
Where's the baby? I don't see the baby. Where's the fighting baby?
All right, you guys, you're gonna try to do this while Diplo figures out what's wrong, or I hope he didn't fall asleep. If we don't hear from Diplo and into this, we're probably gonna have to end early. I hope he's okay. You guys awake and you smell burning. You hear the sounds of battle everywhere. You can smell the blood in the air. There's a cacophony of noise and sounds of violence, weapons against weapons, all over the place. And as you come to, you're overlooking arena, which is filled with bodies. You see every manner of creature. See one of these huge guys, and just as you're coming in, the last goblin, who seems to be shooting arrows from the back of that one, falls dead. Slump on its back. You see crap, move that. You see in the middle of the arena what appears to be two gladiators fighting. This one. And this one finding what appears to be a giant ogre with a chain-like weapon. A several orcs with bodies all around them. Some human with guard outfits on. Some many more of them not. You see several large orcs dead on the side. You look to your, from where you are, that would be your right. You look to your right and you see what appears to be several dead goblins above and some sounds coming from the tent. You look down at yourself and you notice you're not all there. Some of you is there. Enough of you is there that it seems to matter, but not enough that it's not enough that you can kind of see through yourself just a bit. But you hear out, "For my son," as the gladiator in the middle lays down a massive twin-bladed strike on the giant orc. And I'm going to need you guys to roll initiatives.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Let me get it up. Okay. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this guy for the horde for the goblin. Okay. Let me get some initiatives rolled. We're going to try and go through this, but I think Diplo has either fallen asleep or something has happened. Okay, so let's go this guy. 5. 20. We're going to go 8. This is going to get a 24. And this guy is going to get an 11. Okay, and I'm going to second. Character sheet. Bren. I'm going to turn, say 16. Okay. Oops. Guy did not work. 11. This was a whatever. All right. And we are descending. All right. We're not quite in it yet, so Castile, you're not going yet. This is really annoying. All right, just figure it out with 2. You guys get up. You see it. You notice that everyone seems to be battling. There's definitely a sense of desperation in the air. Castilia, you watch as the mage across the way raises a familiar stick to you and aims it at one of the gladiators in the center, and familiar bolts of blue pop out. He goes down. And then now it's your turn. What are you going to try and do? What are you trying to figure out? For the record, the to the sandy floor is about 10 feet drop from the edge there.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough to damage you, but
it doesn't look like he could easily get to the guy on the other side. Okay. I'm gonna use the spell Conjuring a Summon Creature. Time to conjure up a creature. gonna.
Okay.
It'll be one CR2 creature.
Shit, that is the only thing did not have prepped. So I'm going to give me a second. A CR2.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Documents. You have your stats and everything.
Yep.
I just have to put the image here. You pull out and going for something big, going for something nice. Pull out an Allosaurus.
Yes.
You summon it right about where are you summoning it? What's your range on it?
Let's see if there is a specific. Worst case scenario, I just summon it right below me at the ground. 60 feet. So I'll just summon it right airish, right here.
Okay. All right, summon it right there. There's an Allosaurus. You also notice it seems to be a little weird, but it's there.
Also, I can't click on it, just in case. Heads up.
1 second. Edit. Can't edit it myself. I'll have to move it for you then. Don't worry.
Okay.
That all you're gonna do?
Let's see. And I'm gonna start moving. Like, what exactly is with this bit right here? Like, this is like.
That's a pit going into the underground. In front of it right here seems to be a movable barrier. That swings out and then can swing closed. You notice the one on the other side is swung wide open. This one, not so much.
Okay. So, also, what exactly is this? Is this like a solid wall here, or something that could?
It's not a solid wall, but it is about chest high. It would take you an action to get over it. It is just, it separates the different stands.
So then that would basically end my turn by getting over to the other side of it. Okay, so 50-50 shot. Which one looks closer? Elevation. Okay, I'm going to start moving up. And, well, I used my action to summon the Allosaurus, so I'm right here, I guess.
Okay, you are standing right there.
I've mentioned to
what
a
do you
bracket.
want the Allosaurus to do?
Alright. First.
It goes right after you.
Yep. Let's see here. Excellent. Good. I'm going to basically make it run straight here. Does it have the speed? It has the speed. Good. Gonna make it run straight up to here. That'd be a straight line.
It stomps bodies. It gets where up to there.
And it's going to attack the giant ogre thingy.
Okay.
And
go ahead and roll.
First it says with that. I'm guessing a 13 probably doesn't hit.
Let's see. That would be the Chain Brute. Yeah, that hits.
Oh, okay. Then I need to make a strength saving throw.
You try to force it to do something. You don't seem to be able to interact to that level.
Okay, so.
But roll damage.
So just assume I didn't knock it prone.
Yeah, you can't seem to knock it prone, but you are able. You do see that your attack does something. Roll damage.
10 damage.
All right. You see a good slash appear on the creature.
All right. That's all he can do, unless he has. No, he does not have multi-attack. Unless I knock him prone.
You see the ogre that seems to have a bunch of goblin corpses, arrows in it, and just carrying a thing on his back. Step up a couple of step up one, raise its club, and smash it into this guy who was this man dressed as a guardsman, and just smacks him effortlessly across the way, and he falls.
Well, he got Derek Jetered.
And that's its turn. Bryn is flabbergasted about what's going on, a little drunk, thinking that she's hallucinating. Doesn't really do anything. You see the horde move. They seem to move a bit. Smart moving up, seemingly ignoring most of you. One of them runs down to this man with a bow, getting right in its face, and seems to try to swing but miss. The mage, cursing, laughing away, seems to raise his finger and shoot out a firebolt. Seems to hit the one shooting the arrows. It takes a massive hit. You see a orc that seems to be decked out in interesting gear and interesting things. Very much in hide armor, moves. You know, just seems to stand back, kind of laughing at this point. Abracus, you're up.
Abracus is gonna leap over the side.
Abracus, you leap down 10 feet, only costing you 5 movement because it's all gravity. Take no damage. What are you doing? This is an enemy. This is an enemy. That is an enemy. Yes, right there. 21 definitely hits. The
10 damage.
The org. You blast this creature from behind. He was bleeding pretty profusely, and he falls down. You see a subtle hint from the gladiator of surprise. He doesn't seem to quite make you out. The one standing in the middle with his twin sword.
I'm here to help. And that's going to be my turn.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. No. Back up.
Okay.
He's going to apply he's going to breathe on his staff and apply a searing smite.
Okay. Your staff glows and gives off a little bit of light as Abracus rushes up to try and save the day. All right. It's his turn. You see him whip his chain feverishly and land 2 good blows onto the gladiator, who seems to shudder in pain. You see him fall to a knee with one sword stuck into the ground. He pulls the sword out, raises himself back, and goes, "For my child!" And it seems prepared for another assault. Just still?
All right. Action. Jump over the chest high thing.
Okay.
Move to here.
All right. You see inside several goblins seemingly fighting a let me get it up. I think I have to go GM. There it is. See several goblins fighting a rather angry looking child, which you cannot believe how hard it is to find a cartoon child image where it looks angry but not too cartoony. And that was one of the best I could find. Diplo has just messaged me that no, he's not awake, and he is seemingly left the RP general, so I don't know what's going on.
Kill the baby, save the world. I can't make the decision. I'm a paladin. You can. Be my angel of mercy. Kill the baby.
See, the child is covered in wounds, and it seems to be in a death battle with several more goblins. You only see one of them at the time.
Just one goblin?
Right now, yes, but it seems to be harried by more than one.
Okay, so like I said, I've used my action to get over the fence and to move here.
And your movement to get up there, yes.
Yeah, so I can't exactly do a whole lot. I can't smack this goblin or kill the baby to save the world. So that's my turn. Outside of... Okay. Alright. He's just gonna go once again, try and get some orc giant thing meat.
Okay, so roll an attack.
11?
11 misses.
Well, that's that.
This time you watch as the claws seem to hit, but then pass harmlessly through. Don't quite fully understand what's going on.
The Allosaurus just roars. That's
all right.
him.
You see him. You see the giant walk up and seemingly walk through your Allosaurus.
Would that count as...
And reach up and try to smack the holy hell out of the gladiator, but he definitely dodges the strike. Bryn's still dumbstruck by this whole situation. And the horde seems to move, and you notice... Get it? You notice a squadron of goblins just flood out of the open gate. As the other ones move around, unable to get to the gladiator yet, but this guy wasn't supposed to still be here. Anyway. There you go. Not able to get there quite yet. And the mage raises his hand and points once more at the one that's shooting. And a firebolt rings and seems to burn a hole in his chest as he falls dead. The war chief is slowly starting to walk up. Abracus?
Untest. Brax is from the Feywilds. Maybe more accustomed to this. Brax is just gonna run right through that fucking ogre. Can I do so?
You run right through, and as you go through, you feel some form of substance, but not enough to prevent you from passing through.
And once he's behind,
you also run straight through the gladiator.
I thought, and then once he's behind the ogre, he's going to strike it.
Okay, you seek to strike the ogre, you have advantage. Technically, he's an ally.
5 hit.
Chain? Yeah, you definitely hit the chain.
Seven bludgeoning damage, then 6 fire damage. The ogre is now on fire.
The flames seem to lick against the ogre, but they seem to be phased just slightly. He definitely took the damage. You know that much.
21 to hit.
Yeah, 21 definitely hits.
Okay.
You definitely do significant damage to the ogre. He is definitely you definitely see him on his last legs. You don't know how far into this battle you've gotten, but it's definitely been a bit. Okay. As the ogre
Wait, sorry.
seemingly
Add another 2 to that.
okay,
Change that.
still up, barely, but up. You watch this ogre come down with his massive chain whip. You see the gladiator say, "Not this day!" And at the same time the chain whip hits him, he thrusts both blades into the ogre. And they both fall dead. Castile, before you have a chance to do anything, you see a spear pierce the baby. They're really a toddler. And at that moment, you both, all three of you really, feel a presence. A shining light descends from the sky. And a massive, should be actually bigger than that, and a massive creature, glowing with light, smelling of blood and battle, pops into existence. And he looks down at the child, and he looks into the arena, and he smiles. And you see a flash of light as all the goblins in the arena are wiped away, leaving just the child teleported right next to the father. And what you see him say, what you hear it in this very, very billowing language that you can't quite fully make out, but you pick up bits and pieces. You have pleased me in your worship. You will continue on into the great afterlife. Let your wishes become true. I cannot save this town. That is too much. But I can make sure you are ushered on. With that, child glows as you start to fade out. Find yourself standing back on the sloop. Right as you finished opening the book, you can't help but notice that all the pages have been turned. You are now at the end of the book.
Did that just happen?
Abacus is going to close the book and reopen it again at the start.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen again. This time, it's just words
But are Abacus and Catilla in the story now?
You find vague mentions of damage done to the ogre and a dinosaur that seemingly summoned out of nowhere. No mentions of you personally, but your effects on the parts of the battle are definitely in the story. Not enough to change the outcome, but enough to affect it just a touch.
Now, question: can Abacus take the errand from the cover of the book and use it to make a wish in the Neverending Story?
No, you can't.
Damn it!
So, was that like as if we were seeing a memory, or were we actually there?
No clue. To be honest, it might not change if I don't think the answer changes anything.
Probably not. So, let's bring this back to the librarian.
Does the book still smell magic?
Oh yes, it definitely carries a very, to you specifically, it carries a very divine essence to it.
I'm no longer concerned about the baby magic. What about you, Patel?
Considering that... Actually, that would be a good question. Thinking about what I just saw, a religion check. Was that actually Cord?
Give me a religion check. You know what? Even with your critical failure, yes, that was fucking Cord.
Can't deny.
He said it was Cord. It was of a giant gleaming warrior who smells of battle and blood. It's a fiddle of safe leap, even if you derped hard for a moment, that was Cord.
That's obviously...
What does Battle smell like? Are you just saying Cord smells very sweaty?
He smells of blood, guts, sweat, dirt. He smells of...
Forged metal.
Yeah, he smells of iron and metal.
Okay. Well, we should probably take this book back to the gnome and tell him that if he wants to open it, he may be teleported back to fight alongside the baby.
That would be hilarious. Actually, we should see if we can get him to do that, because I'm actually curious if he disappears, or if it was just like, we just stood there like statues.
I wonder what happens if someone goes back into that book and kills the people defending the town.
Go back and kill the gladiator and killing the baby?
Mm-hmm. Hold on. One moment. Brackus is going to make a stop by the statue and read the inscription and see if anything changed on the way to the library.
It's the same description. On this site was the battling baby. And the same. It reads the same way.
Is that the same baby that you saw?
Was it? Does the statue look different?
Yes. It seems to be the same likeness. A little more generic, but the same likeness for the most part.
Kind of looks a little bit more, not quite as detailed, but looks very, very, very similar.
Very well. We should probably return this book back to the librarian and end this guide.
Yes.
As you guys are making your way out, since I didn't get to use it, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take you there. You see this cart heading through town. You see a lot of people bow their head. This cart right here. And you see some tentacles hanging out of it. You see a couple of guards slowly carrying the cart through town.
Oh, I think that's that roper that I killed.
Did you say this out loud?
I mean, yeah.
You say that. Some people look at you shamingly. They don't do anything. They look at you in disgust.
I mean, I'm a paladin, but come on, step to the 7-foot tall tiefling. Let's see how this goes.
Until just face palms.
I'll tell you, there were two ways to get to that past encounter, and one of them was to go back in there. Which now I can get rid of that. That's great. You guys travel back to the bookshop. You open the door. Do you open the door, or do you like finagle with the handle like for?
Brackus opens the door. Mr. Big Tall, we got your book.
Really good. If you could please put it back on the shelf.
It's magic. Takes you to the past. We saw the baby and his dad and three other friends.
Yeah,
you saw another for the record, you saw another gladiator who was fighting alongside the father. You saw several guardsmen who were fighting as well.
But we saw the baby.
They fell.
Catilla saw the baby, but we saw how everyone died, and then we saw Cord.
Really?
Yeah. Just open the book and you'll see it.
Would you care to write down what you claim to see?
To be honest, the book still smells holy. If you open it, you may just go back there yourself. If you want to take like a piece of paper with you, some ink.
He gets quiet for a second.
If you want, actually, Brackus is going to stand next to him with a hand on his shoulder.
Same here.
If the man gets sucked away, Brackus will defend him.
Same here.
All right, you two put your hands on the shoulder. Bren sits down and gets a drink. You two go back to the same scene, and things play out the same way.
Sudden dinosaur, go there.
I mean, no, this time the dinosaur's not there. So you guys are standing right here with him, and he's like, "My word, this is amazing. Maybe I can see her one last time." And you guys have to wrestle.
Yeah, my hand grips deeper on his shoulder.
You guys have to hold on to him quite good, as he is desperately trying to run into the town.
Didn't do the past to fix the future saves no one. You can only live with what's happened. Bracken says as he shoots off 2 Eldritch Blasts at the Goblin Mage.
And you see him die. He didn't seem to have much. The same events. Events change a little bit differently this time. The Goblin Mage is dead, but for the most part, things play out the same. One by one, the survivors that were fighting in the arena as it slowly burned to the ground were killed. A troop of goblins came in as reinforcements, and as the father and child fell at near the same time, Cord came, whisked them together, wiped away their foes, and declared that he would guide them to the glorious afterlife.
The murder hobo in me wants to shoot an Eldritch Blast at Cord.
And Cord
and
going,
as you fight that urge, you slowly start to fade out, and you find yourself back in the library.
I apologize. I did not think what would transpire if you were brought back to that time. But as you can see, the book is magical. I think you would maybe do well to not keep it open on a shelf.
You see him, he's very quiet, he's very subdued, realizing what just happened, and he goes, I have a section for books that are not open to the public. I'll add this one to the list.
Yep.
Just on a hunch, Rex is going to open up his divine sense in the library. Is there anything else?
That's a good idea.
Actually, the entire memorial section gives off a faint divine glow. Not as much as this book, but there seems to be different flavors. You can are you allowed to tell the difference between what the divine source is with divine sense?
I can tell the type: celestial, fiend, undead. Of any being
they all seem to be celestial in nature. Some of the journals seem to have faint hits. You get a hint. You get a hit in the back of the place of an undead hit. You get you get some celestial next to it, and it seems to be where he's heading with the journal as he stares at it. And
what do you have in the back that's undead?
There was a magic shop in town, and they had some tomes they weren't supposed to have. Took everything I had to keep the knowledge of the town in the town. But I keep it here and locked up. And you see him snap his fingers twice. You see the spectral hand and a servant. And he seemingly hands each one a key. Inserts the 3 keys into a hole.
They turn at the same time.
And they turn at the same time. And you see what should have been a stone wall shift, dust fall from it, and then slide back. He walks in. You hear him rummage for a second. He walks back out. And he says, "Boys," and then they turn again, and you see the wall door, and slide back in place. Now you know the secret of the library.
Yep, definitely not mentioning that.
For what condolences I can give you, something is watching over your memorial.
It's not your fault. I apologize. The ones who were here before, the ones who survived, the one who's found this place first. We were all at Bastion on a traveling trip when the horde broke in. We tried to rush back, valiantly helped the others. We were prevented. And the army had to go first. The time they got here, most of the town was dust. I'm told that my wife fought valiantly. She was a mighty sorceress, and she'd always let me hear about it. It's been a good 50 years since I last heard her voice. But he gets all chipper. He tries to, he straightens out his back. Goes, shouldn't have done that. And he tries to say, but another book brought back, and I owe you 30 gold.
Keep gold.
I'll also hand over the 2 gold. She said this would be like a late fee, so here's 2 gold.
It wasn't Gwendoline, was it?
Yes, she had like 30 other books in the house.
Told her 100 times. Just tell her neighbor. Her neighbor has offered to bring the books back if she can't make it.
Did we see cats in that house?
Not really. No.
No, there weren't like 50 cats in that house.
No.
I think you're lying. I think you as a DM are lying to me.
They were all upstairs.
I know there was definitely at least 10 to 15 cats in that house.
There was a single very old dog that was next to the chair.
I looked up when we opened the door and went back to sleep.
Yeah, it went, who's in here? Oof.
It was nice meeting you, Mr. Big Tall.
Well, if you ever need anything else about the town or information, I'm here. And you make sure to bring those books back after 2 weeks.
I promise. Yeah, the Oath of the Paladin.
And he puts his hand out for you to shake.
I shake.
You feel a bag put in your hand, and I have the oath of a librarian. He starts walking off, leaving you with a sack of 30 gold.
Okay. Well, Albax is going to walk out, and as he walks out, he's going to tell Catilla, technically my oath says nothing about keeping my word. Not one of those oaths. People know like the main paladin oath, but there's a bunch of others. I don't have to keep my word at all.
Oh,
nice little game changer.
I'll keep that in mind.
Oh no, I would obviously always keep my word with you, Catilla.
And you'll always have my
never
back.
lie. I'm always
suddenly Brachus realized he confessed to his companion, I'm a lying piece of crud sometimes.
I always tell the truth, Catilla. 27 to deception.
I believe you. And I'll always have your back, Brachus.
You guys make it back.
Ends the side story.
Yeah. You guys make it back to the tavern. You contemplate what happened, and let's kill a little bit more time. What do you guys do for the next 2 weeks?
I think it's safe to say our curiosity of the other 2 libraries has been sated.
I feel like the other guy should have an option in this.
Yeah, okay. We'll end the session a little bit early. Unfortunately, Soviet couldn't make it, and Diplo has passed out.
That's 15 gold to you, Kiri.
All right. So you're splitting the gold, or?
Yeah. Giving you 15 gold.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think of your journey into the past?
I liked it.
Yeah.
You guys were determined to find out what happened to the baby, so I figured out ways to make it happen.
Yep.
I question the god of battle solving a problem by mind controlling and then starving enemies. It's a bit of an odd tactic for Cord.
I mean, Cord just granted them the wish. He's doesn't mean that he personally approves of it.
He granted them the wish. Whatever happens, well, not on me. I wish for world peace.
No,
God damn it! I take that wish back.
This was a baby. You know, the moment Cord granted the wish, fucking like candy canes started dropping from the sky everywhere on the continent. This core didn't think through granting a wish to a toddler.
No, he probably didn't.
Candy!
But
Stuffed animals start falling from the sky.
Suddenly, suddenly it becomes all the land around changes, and it becomes dog.
And on that day, 500 puppies swept through last fall and saved the town from goblins.
Then suddenly, an entire battalion of nutcrackers.
But the battle and born father probably wished for a way to continue to fight his enemies. So.
Okay, that's one wish. Well, what happened with the other wish then? Now we have a question of where the other wish went.
Yeah.
One wish gave us a golden baby. Where's the other wish?
Yeah. I think we might have to check.
Wouldn't think a baby upset and anger and hurt and bleeding might wish for calm and peace and lack of fear?
I don't think so. Babies don't think that. Babies are much more selfish.
Toddler?
Yeah. Yeah, you've heard you've experienced the terrible twos.
Babies don't understand fucking empathy, Neo.
I disagree, but to each their own.
When did you get your nephews? Was it past that time period?
No, I've been raising them since they were in diapers.
Wow. Well, you were lucky. Okay, well that was a nice side story.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I came up with the arena stuff at like 2 days ago, but the rest of it was gonna happen one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little disappointed you guys didn't end up going down here, because I was gonna shame you for your killing the roper.
No shame for killing a freely roaming roper.
Yep. And it's all because I realized, wait, jumping the gun. Let's actually do some research.
I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry this was a much shorter session than normal.
Things happen.
Be sorry. You should have fixed it.
How should I have fixed it?
You should have fixed. You should have gone the ticket to Manhattan and fixed Zoic's deck so he could play.
Now he lives in like New Hampshire,
somewhere around there. And then you should have woken up Diplo. You should have swatted Diplo, and the SWAT team would have woken him up.
The SWAT team probably would have killed him.
Would have woken him up.
For the record, apparently, because I'm going to be fair to Sovic. Apparently, he just found out today that the company that manages where he lives was going to come out and do work on their deck, but that they had to have a bunch of shit ready before then. So him and his wife apparently have been busting their ass all day. So
excuse.
Can't blame him too much. All right.
I don't blame him at all.